Good afternoon, Jane. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. I hope you're doing good today. Hello, AJ. Good afternoon, DD and chat. Good to have you guys. 2C's in the house. Hi, DD and chat. Good to have you. Barney's in the house. Good to have you, Barney. Welcome in, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well. Give it one more minute and then we'll begin. Great live yesterday or earlier today. Great live, you guys. It was amazing live. Doug, hello, Devil Dog, AJ, Bam, Barney, Tusi, Gene, and all the Devil Pops and Mubs. Barney said, "Dog, what's for dinner?" Everybody always had. Oh Lordy, what did I have? I think stir fried. I had stir fried with a bunch of vegetables. Barney says, "Hey, Doug." Oh, I don't eat all the time, but every now and then, I guess. Nah, I like food all the time. All right, everybody. Mods, same thing as before. Just let them know what we're talking about, and we'll go on from there. So today, talking about Elizabeth Waddell from North Carolina. Welcome in, Annie. Welcome in. So today's topic is Elizabeth Waddell from Cary, North Carolina. Interesting about Elizabeth, curious case, couldn't find much on it. Annie. So Elizabeth went on a vacation with some friends, two of her friends. They've known each other forever. They've known each other for about 25 years. So Elizabeth is 44 years old. She's a physical therapist. She also is into dance and what was the other one? She's into dance and fitness. Dance, fitness, physical therapist is her actual main job. So her and her husband's name is Kaylin. Kaylin Waddell. And they've been married. Quentin, welcome in, Quentin. Good to have you. And Elizabeth married a man by the name of Sean. Now, there's okay, so Elizabeth and Sean are married. Their best friends, who they've known for 25 years, is Amanda Romano. And her husband is named okay, let's get this right. Her husband is Sean. Amanda and Sean are married. They've known Kaylin and they've known Elizabeth for 25 years from Cary, North Carolina. Okay. So they've known each other for a long time. They've been friends. Both husbands went to college at the same college, and that's how they all met. Okay. So, according to what I found, the friend Amanda, she's not the one missing. The friend Amanda, she had a work trip to go to in Grenada. Okay. In Grenada. And that's where they invited the other friends of theirs, which is Elizabeth and Kaylin, to come along. So they got an Airbnb and they stayed all together at the Airbnb. Welcome in, Al. Welcome in. So the setting is this is where they went, just to give you an idea. I want to show you what it looked like when they were out there. So this is where they went on their vacation / work. This is the place that they were staying at, which is St. George in Grenada. That looks nice, don't it? I mean, that looks really nice. I mean, if your friends ask you to come with them and you were going to stay somewhere like this, I'd say you'd be going in a heartbeat. Especially when her friend, it was her work trip, and Elizabeth and Kaylin, her husband, were just going there, just to vacation, swim, all the good things. But they stayed in an Airbnb. But this is what it looks like. I just wanted to show you guys what it looked like. This is Grenada. This is where they stayed. Okay. So now, let's go ahead and do this. So now, they went there, and this is a picture of, just so you know, of Elizabeth, okay? I want to show you exactly what she looks like. Right? This is going to be Elizabeth. Okay. That is Elizabeth. So that is her. This is Elizabeth, 44 years old. She has a little bit of slight pink hair at times. She wears pink hair, but otherwise it is blonde, short. She's about 5'5", mid-built, physical therapist. That's who went missing right there, Elizabeth. So you guys got a good idea what she looks like. All right. So with that, they went out there, and apparently what had happened was she was walking up to the pier of where they were staying, and the last known sight of her was saw her walking towards the pier and going towards the beach to take a swim. And she left her towel on the pier. And so she walked in the water, and all of a sudden she disappeared. And no one knows from there what happened to her. They have no clue. So when she didn't come back to the Airbnb, her friend, she didn't come back. Her friend noticed, this is Amanda, noticed that she didn't come back. She went ahead and called her husband. Not her husband, but called Elizabeth's husband, Kalen, and told him that she hadn't come back. And at that point, they ended up filing a missing persons report. Oleg, welcome in, Oleg. So they ended up filing a missing persons report. And of course, they, St. George's Police Department, they got everybody, they started searching for her. They could not find her anywhere. They're still searching. This happened on July 22nd. July 22nd is when she went missing. 4 days ago. 4 days ago. So they're still looking for her at this point. They have not found a body. Now, there is no report of her having any medical history, any medical issues. What's up, Red? Red. Hey, dog. Good to have you, Red. Bring Nancy home now. I hear you. So they literally are still looking for her, and no one has seen her since. The friend called her husband, Elizabeth's husband, Kalen, told him that she had not come back. And so they went and filed a missing persons report ASAP. And that's how all that developed. No one has seen her. No one knows, anything at this point. They're not suspecting anything at this point. They said there's no medical issues. There's no concerns as far as medical and or chronic illnesses or any type of disabilities or any health problems. None of that. That's all off the table. I mean, she was a physical fitness. She was into the literally therapy, physical therapy, fitness, and dance. So apparently she was healthy, you would think. So they ruled everything out there. And so now they're literally trying to just locate her. Now, they have called, obviously, family members back in North Carolina and Cary, North Carolina, and, let them know what's going on. And now there is people coming so that they could go ahead and help search. Amanda's husband is actually helping them search as well, along with Kalen and whatnot. And obviously St. George's Police Department there in Grenada are searching for her. Any cameras towards the beach? I think that's the camera that they got was when they showed her going into the water, going in from the pier, going into the water, and that is it. Other than that, there is nothing else. There's no footage, no video. Now, at this point, because it's kind of early, I'm thinking maybe, when you're by the ocean or the beach, if you're not like secluded, you guys seen the pictures of what it looked like. If you're not secluded, maybe somebody's door cam or somebody's security system may have got something, and they just haven't really went that far to that point yet. So go ahead, Ma, take care of that last one for me, please. And so that's really the situation that's at hand. There's going to probably be something. somebody has something, you would think, on footage, right? Because all those places out there, especially the Airbnbs and everything, they all have security cameras, right? They all have security cameras. So most of them, I should say, I can't say all of them, but most of all of them have security cameras. So they might be able to pull something from there. They just haven't stated that one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? One way or the other, they have not stated what exactly has happened. 44 years old. They knew this other, they're friends of theirs. They knew them for 25 years. Now, here's the really sad thing about this. Okay. Doug says, who actually went on the trip? Just Amanda and Liz. And of course, Amanda and Liz. Yes. To my understanding, that's where it's at. Amanda and Liz. And Kaylin is coming back. Kaylin works, her husband, Elizabeth's husband, works at the Park and Recreational Resource Manager in the town of Cary, North Carolina. That's what he does. And of course, you know what Elizabeth does. She's a physical therapist. And then Amanda is someone who had a business trip, and that's why they went on this trip. So now what we have, so absolutely, what time of day was this? Was what was going on in previous hours? It is all just new. What I'm giving you is what they have and all I could find. So what trip was this day? 1 through 6? I don't know yet, Doug. I'm still trying to figure it out. I have no idea. All I know is that she went missing on the 22nd. So I don't know if they were at the end of their trip or if they were at the beginning of their trip. I don't know if it was the morning or if it was at nighttime. All I know is what they said, and they just said that she went missing on the 22nd, and literally she disappeared while going into the water. Now, when they say disappeared, they mean that was the last time they saw her. She never came back, and that's why literally Amanda, her friend, called her husband, and then they went and made a report. So that's what I'm giving you is all. I mean, just like you couldn't find a whole lot of information, that's basically all I could find. Now, they said that she was really a nice person, Elizabeth. She interacted with a lot of kids. Like if she see kids playing, she would interact with them. She would even interact with strangers. She was just a likable person. She liked meeting new people, talking to new people. Tusi, maybe she went in and took her life. We never know what's on one's mind. Very true. Very true. It's very possible. At this point, they just don't have a body. At this point, they just do not have a body yet. Please hit the like button. You're welcome, Doug. So the only other things, let me read these here. True, see, hard to know, never know what one is going through. Devs, would be interesting to see that footage. Did the cam footage see her actually disappear or just lost track of her? I think when they usually say that she disappeared, I don't think like literally she disappeared into the air. I just literally mean that they must have caught her on camera on the pier because they said she was on the pier and she walked towards the water. And then that was the last time anyone seen of her. So that's usually what they would say is at that point, they're considering her just to be disappeared. In other words, no one knows where she's at. AJ, Deb, Doug. Okay, these are the questions we need answered first, in my opinion. Right, but you can't get answers when you don't have answers. So it doesn't matter. We can't get any answers yet. But you're right. In an investigation, you're going to need those, right? But you can't get those because they don't give them out. So, we got to go with what we got. Barney, I am ready trying to figure out how to approach rude and entitled neighbors without getting myself in trouble. Deb, low tide, very possible. I'm thinking maybe something like that. I mean, I don't know. It said there was no issues of marriage issues. Looked up information to see if there was like any like history there. Nothing negative that was reported. So yeah, it just seems like literally like someone somehow may have gone missing and probably maybe even, I don't know. I hate to say became unalive, but at this point they haven't found a body, so she's just missing. She's being treated. L says she's being treated for long COVID, chronic fatigue syndrome, endometriosis primary. As someone who suffered from endo, she was likely in a lot of pain. Yeah, I have no idea about all that information because I didn't see any of that. Yeah, I haven't seen any of that. I haven't seen any of that information, so not sure. Deb, Tusi, they have a missing person poster of her with pink hair. Yeah, she sometimes wear pink hair. They listed her as short blonde hair, and then they said and or pink hair. So it just depends, I think, on the day, how she's feeling. Celtic, thank you for being in the house, Celtic. Celtic just gave 2 jewels. Thank you for supporting the channel like always. L, hi, Deb. Doug. Deb, I do wonder about sand holes. Interesting. Honestly, I haven't even heard of sand holes, to be honest. Premenopause, insanity is a mood disorder, and you can rapidly cycle emotions. Interesting. Yeah, there's no sign of any health issues at this point. Hi, Celtic. Hey, what's up, guys? So the other thing is, crowd. Let me see here. She had literally, they had 3 children. 3 children. Elizabeth had 3 children. One, and I won't say their names because they're underage, but one was 9, and it looks like it's a male. 7, another male, and 3, a female. I'm not going to say their names because they're underage, obviously, so I'm not going to say that. But that's who they had. They had 3 kids, which has got to be heartbreaking. Damn. L, I got that info from Robbie Harvey. Awesome, L. Thank you. Fin Fan, what's going on, Devil Dog? Hey, what's going on, Fin Fan? Welcome in. Barney, women's health is often misdiagnosed or misunderstood. Very true. Very true. Hi, Fin Fan. Doug. Spit it. L1985. I need some answers. So tell him again, L. Let Doug know, or let all of us know what exactly. Let me see. Let me go back up here. Hang on. So you got, hang on. You got, she's been treated for long COVID, chronic fatigue syndrome, endometriosis, premenopausal, menopause, insanity. As someone who suffered from endo for years, she has likely in a lot of pain. Wow. There you go, Doug. That's what she has wrong with her. Premenopausal insanity is a mood disorder, and it can rapidly cycle emotions. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, L. Celtic says, I'm just here to listen in. Deb, hi. L, I got that info from Robbie Harvey. FinFan. Barney, Women's Health, Misguided. Hi, FinFan. Barney, check out Robbie Harvey's Facebook. I will do that. I don't even know who he is, but I will check it out. Thank you. Quentin, remember quicksand. Okay. If that's what sandholes are, okay, just say quicksand. I know exactly what you're talking about. Celtic Pad, new missing mom. So this is a new missing person report. A new missing person report. A new case just came out, literally, and I'm just trying to give you what I have been able to find. Kentucky girl, welcome in. According to her Facebook page, she had a lot of health issues this past May. Interesting. Well, that would explain why Elle just gave us the rundown. Thank you so much, Kentucky. Appreciate you. Thank you, Elle, once again. Elle, missing since July 22nd. Yes, that is correct. Elle, yes, Kentucky. She seems like she must be going through a lot. Maybe that's why she wanted to get away. Who knows? AJ, Finn, Celtic, Kentucky. Barney, big problems with doctors not taking the time to order the proper blood tests and really put thought into the patients are telling them, what the patients are telling them. Well said, Barney. Deb, a well-needed vacation. L, Barney, endo can only be diagnosed via doctors going in and finding it. I had 3 surgeries for it until finally had to have total hysterectomy, not trying to put my personal info out there, but it does. But it doesn't. Got you. Thank you, L. Appreciate that. Sorry to hear about that. L, get enough awareness. Deb, she was fortunate to have 3 kids. Yes, very fortunate. Annie, Barney, especially nowadays, they send you all over for every little thing. I don't like that, says Annie. L, yes, she was, Deb. Celtic L, hope you're feeling better. AJ. So basically, we can infer that they're probably, hello, April, welcome in. We could probably know that obviously something happened. Either she took, went that route, or somebody did something, right? I mean, it's either one or the other. Doug, I only seen one child, a daughter, was said she was adopted. We're all adopted, could not be able to get pregnant, be a precursor for the Perimino insanity. Just curious, never heard of that before. Yeah, I couldn't answer that, Doug, because I don't know. Now, I know that possibly, I do know that they did have one daughter that would always call their friends. They would always call their friends, these friends, their uncle and their aunt, because that's how close they were. But yeah. Tusi, hi April, Celtic Bay, going to exit for a bit, guys. I'll be listening though. Good job, mods. Holly, you have to be your advocate and remember that the doctors work for you. Well said, Holly. L, thanks, guys. I am grateful to the doctor who cared for me. Very compassionate and super good surgeon. Awesome. AJ, April, L, April, AJ, Holly, L, take care, Celtic. L, hi, Holly. Annie, that is great. AJ, you sure do, Holly. Marianne, hello all. Welcome in, Marianne. Doug, just trying to build a victimology in my head. You got it, buddy. You do you. I know how you are. You're good. Put all that information in that brain. Marianne, hi. April, my doctor had endo and a complete hysterectomy in her 30s. Wow. Interesting. Daughter, not doctor. Tusi, Marianne, L, April. Very sorry she went through that. AJ, Marianne. So basically, in Grenada, at this resort, St. George Island, that's where all this went down, where she is missing from. And they are still looking for her. They're still trying to find her. Now, I don't know if there's anything nefarious. They haven't said. They're not ruling anything. They're not saying. Matter of fact, when I looked this up, they said there was no medical issues or nothing like that. So glad you found that, L. Very glad you found it, because they said there was nothing there. They said there was no medical issues. And of course, the lady is like, looks like she's going through a lot of stuff, as Al put it. Yeah. So now it goes to, where do you think they're going to look first? Obviously, they're going to want to know, obviously, because they're always going to check closest to home, right? They're going to check, where the husband was, that type of thing, because it always goes that they look at the family first and then they work their way down. L, I suspect this lady was a hard worker and navigating through her health issues. I mean, they say she is involved. She's a physical therapist. She does fitness and dance. So, yeah, I mean, you would think she would be in good health. Apparently not. Elle says probably very overwhelmed. God bless her. April, crime is high in North Carolina. Never know down here. Very true. Holly, after a hysterectomy, your hormones get all thrown off and sometimes need hormone therapy. Thank you for that, Holly. Appreciate that. But see, that's the thing. There is a lot going on right now. And yeah, it's very, very troubling. Just looking through my notes here, everybody. That's it. I mean, that's what I got. They didn't have anything. It wasn't a lot of information because they just released this. So there's not a whole lot more. But they're going to have cameras, because every place out there has cameras. They're going to have that information. They're going to have where, like, if she walked around or when she was last saw. But the last place they saw her was going into literally the water. That's the last place they got her, and then they didn't see her anymore. I can't even say they saw her when she came out, because they didn't see her no more. So don't even know if she came out or that was the end. Exactly. The only person she knew was her friend. If she was at work, she is alibied. So that leaves a stranger or stalker or for foul play. Accident, maybe it is the ocean or self-unaliving. Very true, Doug. Very true. Barney, I have MRSA. I went to doc to find out what was wrong with a wound several times. For over a year, after several doctor visits, I happened to end up in ER. They swabbed me, wound, and found out it was MRSA. So sad to hear that, Barney. Annie, Miss Barney, so sorry. Hope all is okay. So the reason I brought this case up is because we're going to be talking about this individual. We're going to see what they find. It may be, if she's going through all that heartache and all that situation with all the illnesses that she may have, then it is very possible that this could have been something that she wanted to happen because she was in pain. It's possible. I mean, in my opinion. or there's something nefarious. We don't know either which way because law enforcement from St. George hasn't said anything about it. Nothing, not one thing. In Robbie Harvey's comments, it says, as someone who is also going through long COVID, don't judge what you don't understand. Be glad you haven't had to experience it. It was wreaked havoc on every system in my body. Totally understand, El. Thank you so much. And sorry you had to go through all that. Barney, we never know who is among us anymore. Well said, Barney. AJ, maybe alcohol mixed with meds went to the water and couldn't get out. That's a very good possibility. Good point. That is a very good point. Well said, AJ. L, very sorry, Barney. April, please like and subscribe. Click the likes buttons, everybody. Click subscribe. Share it to your streams, please. Oleg, sorry for that, Miss Barney. My hubby had that for a long time in his leg ulcer. It is very nasty. Hope you get cured. Welcome in, Oleg. Well said. AJ, Barney, Deb, into the water with her towel. No, into the water. Her towel was left at the pier. So she went into the water and she left her towel at the pier. When they went looking for it, they found that towel at the pier. Yeah, it does sound kind of strange. Could be a lot of different things right now. We're at the very beginning, so we're not really sure, like, could there have been something nefarious going on? I mean, you always don't want to think that way, but you always have to ask that question. Could it have been something going on? I mean, I don't know. I just don't know. Sometimes couples get too close, I guess. April, thank you for posting. L, AJ, that's one of the first things that came to my mind besides self-harm. Holly, too many people drowning, even if you can swim, have a life jacket with you just in case. You never know what could happen. Well said, Holly. Well said. Awesome. Doug, who goes to the pier to swim? Piers are usually for fishing. No swimming is allowed. So that seems a little off to me. Well said, Doug. Because they did put in there that they were letting all the fishermen know. That would make sense because they were letting all the fishermen know and people who do fishing in that area to please keep their eyes open in case they see something, to call St. George Police Department. Very well said. April, I am near a pier now. The shark fish off the pier and near it. Wow. Better be safe, April. Are we past Shark Week or we just started Shark Week? April, scary. April, they do swim on both sides of the pier. Not really for me. I don't get in the ocean, LOL. I don't blame you. So, yeah, there's a lot there, everybody. L says, yes, they do, April. Quite often. That's why I freak out going into the ocean. We have had them swim right up to the shore where people are on the beach. That's crazy. Yeah, if I see that, that's the last time I'm going there. No doubt about it. I don't anymore either, April. So you have a lot of different variables going on here. And honestly, the throwing me for the loop was the health, because everything I read says she was in good health. Now it's pretty obvious she's not. She's going through a lot of ailments, things that could literally, just so hard to see, because at 44 years old, that's pretty young. 44 years old, that is very young. Doug says jellyfish, without a doubt. Holly, did St. George get it with a tropical storm? Didn't St. George get hit with a tropical storm? changes the weather conditions. It does sound familiar, to be honest, but I can't remember what was the big issue on St. George Island in Grenada or Grenada or whatever, however you want to pronounce it. But the idea is, yeah, I want to say there was something that hit over there, a storm, but I just can't remember where I heard that from. The actual name, St. George Island. Barney, I would like to see pics of the area where she disappeared. Well, the only pics I got, I put a thing in there to locate some pics, and the only thing I got back was literally just the area where she was last seen, and that was those pictures that I was showing you guys. April, my husband caught a 5-foot shark down here 15 years ago. Jesus. That's too much for me, April. Too much for me. AJ, safe, April. Be safe. Hammerhead at that. No, thank you. April. So, yeah, I mean, what do you think? Do you think there is a possibility that somebody unalived her? Do you think something was going on? Do you think there was something nefarious happening? Or do you think this is just her saying, I'm done. I can't handle the pain anymore. And if she had 3 kids or 1 kid or whatever the case may be, the idea that is it that point that you just say, I'm done, I'm checking out? What's your all's thought? It's normal where we stay for shark fishing. I don't think she was unalived, in my opinion. Likely an accident or medical related, or she unalived sadly. No, that's a very, very good possibility, El. Well said. A current can take you quickly in Florida. I have seen places with warning signs, do not enter even when it's ankle deep. Oh, wow. Interesting. Barney, I would like to see if there are no swimming signs there. Got you, Barney. AJ, I want no part of fishing. Self unalived, I meant right. I got it. No doubt. It's very possible. Very, very possible. Holly, just find it odd that all this stuff is happening to people and no one ever sees anything. Right? Goes without saying, no doubt about it. Very true. Very, very true. Well, I'm thinking at this point, we don't even have nowhere near enough information. But I guarantee you they're going to start talking to not only checking people's is along that strip of whatever she went to the pier on that strip, either which way. They're going to start trying to see if they can see anybody's cameras or ask people for help and seeing if they saw this person and kind of go that route. That's the only way they're going to be able to, because they have cameras on all these houses by the pier and along the beach. Riptides will take you under very fast. Gene says, a lot of times there are signs saying dangerous areas for swimming. Doug, could someone have followed her there? Could a native have caught their eye? Blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman. Some places are goddesses like. Possible someone took her also with no body. Interesting. Gene, signs show up around piers. Holly, did she drive or walk to the pier? It didn't really specify. I'm guessing she walked. but I'm not sure. But I'm guessing she walked. Only because they didn't mention any driving, so I'm figuring she doesn't live. They're not staying too far in their Airbnb for them to walk, is what I'm thinking. But they never specified, at least what I read. I can't imagine her doing that with her 3 children, adopted or not. She has access to a lot of help and support within her job. Very true, Deb. Very true. Info. I got people. Info I got. People do swim off and around the pier area at Grand Anse Beach in Grenada, but caution is advising regarding boat traffic and depth. There you go. So it's not something that's unheard of. Oleg, the lesson here is don't go swimming alone. Don't do anything ever alone. No doubt. Tusi, in Jersey, people go under a lot in the ocean. The waves and the riptide takes them under. We hear about that weekly. Very interesting. Well said, Tusi. L, I got that from Google. Thank you, L. Doug, we don't even know if she went in the water. Towel at the pier is not good enough for me. IG, anything seems staged. Very good point, Doug. Very possible. Very possible. Good point. Barney, just speaking up for people that unalive themselves. My mother unalived herself and had 3 kids. Interesting. Interesting. Sorry to hear that, Barney. L, please remember to hit the like and subscribe if you haven't. So, I just look at the age and look at how long this family have known each other. Look at the idea that you would think that she would have been in a healthier status, if you will, because of the things that she was doing with the physical fitness and the dance and the fitness that she was doing. But maybe that's why she was doing it, was because she was trying to do everything she could to literally deal with what she was dealing with. Very possible. Lucy, so sorry. Holly, so are they assuming she jumped off the pier? No, they actually said she walked into the water and that was the last time they saw her. So I'm guessing a camera caught her going in, but never caught her coming back out. And that would speak volume. That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking they're going to be going down the line on that pier, going down the line either direction and asking for people with cameras. Maybe she went in somewhere and came out somewhere else. You know what I mean? Maybe she went in here and then went this way or that way. That way, either that way or that way to go ahead and come out. Never know. But then you say, why would she have left her towel there? Maybe she really didn't care. Maybe it was a towel that was inside the Airbnb and she really didn't care. I don't know. Holly, so are they assuming, did she wear glasses? Well, let me see. Looking at this picture, nope. According to this picture, she didn't. So are they assuming, did she wear glasses? Barney, I am so sorry, my friend. That's awful. Holly, I think they have it on video. That's the only way they could actually be sure, because I can't imagine unless someone literally saw her walk in and they told the cops that, I can't imagine anybody, they had to be a cam of some sort. From Beach Cam, very possible. Very possible. Wow, says Holly. Deb, needs a weather info that day too. Yeah, no doubt. Like I said, this case is pretty new. It's fresh. It's just new. There's not a lot of information out there. So I just wanted to go ahead and make sure you guys knew about it, because when we start talking and really getting into it, we're going to be able to at least understand more and why we're actually tapping into this. But it just came out. Dad, need the weather info. Oleg. Oh, Mrs. Barney, so sorry to hear that. Chris, I have come to the conclusion that 2 shows from you is way too much for me to stomach for one day. Adios, amigo. Holly. Hey, y'all. Hi, Ollie. Good to see ya. Tusi. Hey, Chris. Holly. Hey, 1985. Marianne Tusi, I heard about 6 to 7 drownings in Wildwood over the 4th of July. Wow. It's quite a bit. Chris says hello, everyone. Andy, hi, Chris. Hello, Chris. Tusi, I love Dee Dee's both shows daily. Well, thank you, Tusi. Thank you very much. Al, hi, Chris. Deb, a friend of ours lost his dad that way. He says, never do this. It's a very selfish thing for a person to do. And I can understand that, Deb. Yeah, I can understand that from personal experience. Absolutely. Very much so. Agree with that 110%. Tusi, yes, Marianne, so sad. Oh, Marianne, wow, how sad. Doug, we need a list of other players from Friends work, in my opinion. We'll get right on it, Doug. Or let me rephrase that. Get on it, Doug. Start getting that info together. Holly, just find it odd. No one else was at the beach at that time. She got in the water. Yeah, I mean, they did say they were letting all the fishermen know and everybody there. So you would think somebody would have been out there in their boats fishing. I don't know what the weather was like, but if the weather was nice, you would think somebody would have saw something. But they did at least get something that she walked in there. They just didn't get her walking out or coming out. She could have went on either side. We don't know. Her health issues and being a woman myself, I really have a strong opinion about this already, but that's just opinions. Oh, understandable, El. Understandable. AJ, Chris, Deb, yes, we can follow the story. Jeannie, Chris, I paid her to say that. So that's where they're getting all their money. You're paying them to say that. Chris, laughing out loud. Doug, I'm on it, Doug. You got it, Doug. I'm on it, dog. Oh, Lord. I can always count on you, my friend. Holly, I'm back. I had to help my mom. You got it. That's the problem. The beach is usually not near the pier, right? Yeah, no, I get it. It's just odd. But then again, wouldn't there, if there's not a lot of people at the pier, you know how sometimes there's not a lot of people at the pier, and it usually has that wooden walkway going down, right? I mean, that's a good place to, if you're going to go ahead and call it quits, no one sees you go in, no one's going to bother you. That's a very good possibility. Maybe that's why it was chosen for her, if that was the case. Not saying it was, just saying if that was the case. Welcome back, Holly says, Holly, thank you. Yeah, these cases, they come out of nowhere and, trying to figure out how. But like I said, this is not, this is strictly trying to just familiarize ourselves with who we're talking about. Elizabeth, being a 44-year-old mom. It's just sad, man. It's sad to see people becoming unalive in whatever fashion, to be honest. Dee Dee, you are the first on this story. Didn't hear about it until now. Well, I'm always listening, trying to find what is something that's happening. And I know there's a lot of things happening. We could talk about pew-pewings, and we could talk about, Jesus, we could talk about everything and everything that comes out. But these are the things, because when this person went missing, it kind of hit a little bit back to home. So that's why I was kind of like, man, really? And that also got my attention, to be honest. Pier near the beach where I live 30 minutes from is right on the beach. Guess it depends a lot of info to try to gather on this one. Yeah, I think we're going to have to wait to see. Like, if they can't locate the body, you know, I mean, I hate to say it, but maybe, I mean, is there sharks in that area? I'm sure there is. Don't know that to be fact, but I would assume. You guys see the layout, I showed you guys the pictures of it. It's just a beautiful place, Matter of fact, I'm going to show you again. I mean, that's a place, everybody. Without a doubt, that's a place. And just look at this beautiful area. Now, I don't know exactly where the pier is. Not sure if that's it right there or it's down further, but when I typed this on there, this is what the questions I was asking. Usually it's bigger than that, obviously. But this is a beautiful place, everybody. Make no mistake, very beautiful place. Very nice. Very nice. That's all I can say. So, yeah. Buttercup, welcome in, Buttercup. Good to have you. Hello, everyone. Tusi, Buttercup, Doug. One would think reef sharks and blue shark would be in the shallower waters where people would swim. Very good possibility. Click that like, everybody. Click that like. Let's share out the stream. Share it out to your followers. One would think the reef shark would be the shallower water there where people swim. L, hi, Buttercup. Groundsky, hello, everyone. Welcome in, Groundsky. L, hi, Groundsky. Tusi, beautiful place. I would pass because I would never fly. Buttercup, AJ, Groundsky, Tusi, Groundsky. So yeah, there's a lot of things here, and this poor woman, like I said, maybe Elle's right. Maybe she was going through a lot of pain. That's very possible. I would love to take a vacation there. Yeah, I would too. I just don't trust anything out of the United States, honestly. If you want to know the truth, I just don't trust anything in the outside of the United States. So that always worries me, especially in the times that we live in right now. I've been to a lot of countries, but it's one thing going there as a military man, and it's different to go as just wanting to visit. You just don't know what to expect anymore in today's world. Click that like, everybody, and subscribe. So there was a question. Somebody asked something, and I missed it here. Let me see if I can find it. This is interesting. It really is. It really is interesting, no doubt. These are the things that really catch my attention because these are the ones that you just never know which way they're going to go. Grand Anse Beach features a small Gronsky. Thank you for that Devil Dog membership. Appreciate you, my friend. Always supporting the channel. God bless you, buddy. Thank you so much. Thank you for always supporting my friend. Grand Anse Beach features a small concrete structure known as Esther's Pier, which serves as a key local landmark and water taxi drop-off point. Interesting. See, you're already on it, Doug. Good. If she was alone, anything could have happened. That's the problem. You just never know. You just never know, everybody. Location situated directly next to the Grand Anse Craft and Spice Market and Esther's Bar in the famous 2-mile stretch of Grand Anse Beach in Grenada. So you know somebody had to see something, right? I mean, it would almost be impossible not to see something or see someone going into the water. You know? I mean, I don't know what her demeanor was. Maybe she, was acting normal, calm, cool, collected. Doug, function acts as a primary landing and departure spot for local water taxis arriving from St. George. Interesting. Oh no, a 4-year-old went missing locally and they found her unalive during a search. So sad. So sad. Unbelievable. Thanks so much for supporting the channel, Gronsky. Welcome in, Creole Lady. L, welcome in, Creole Lady. Annie, L, so sad. Buttercup, thank you, Gronsky. Marianne, oh no, how sad. Tuesday, oh my God. L, April, thank you, Gronsky. You are awesome. L, awful. Says there's an investigation and they're not giving out any other info at this time. L, send me that information if you don't mind. Could you please send me that? I'd like to take a look at it if you don't mind. I appreciate it. Doug, near a bar. That's suspicious. Did she go have a few drinks and get herself motivated and pumped up to do this? If she did it herself? Or was somebody watching her? That's a very good point, Doug. Doug, water taxi. That's suspicious. Pier is big enough for maybe 6 boats. Dev, what's frustrating about female problems or many problems is when you cannot get answers. You keep going to the doctor with no results. A person needs to be their own advocate, and that's just part of it. Well said, Dev. Well said. To see, maybe someone was in the water when she went in and a situation started. Can't believe no one was around. I mean, Doug just pointed to a lot of things that are around there. So, it's just hard to imagine no one saw anything. L, sure thing, DD. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Love to look at that. So now we have literally another person that we're going to be following and waiting for some reports if they ever find. I'm sure they'll find it. Let me rephrase that. I don't know what they're going to find. I'm sure they'll find the body, and if not, well, then we know it's a bigger situation, But just the idea that once they find it, then do the autopsy, then do what's in her system, see what was going on, toxicology report. Man, it's one of them cases again, literally. Back to the beginning. Sounds like an extremely fast missing person filing. It does. That's what got me, Doug. That this happened on the 22nd. Amanda calls the husband to tell him, and then they hurry up and go ahead and file a missing persons report. Now, I don't know if they were just worried. I don't know if they sent something, but that is pretty quick. That in itself, I hate to say it's suspicious in itself, but it does seem kind of odd that fast. You know, for all they know, because she was into the health, she was into the fitness and all that kind of thing. It's very possible she could have just took a long walk, right? Went into the water, came out the other end, and just started walking. Dry herself off by walking. But yeah, they didn't give the time exactly of when she went missing. So that is very, very probable or possible. Bible. Seems the friend was a friend of the husband prior. Yes. Yes, Doug. Well said. Well said. I'm glad I didn't have to say that. Bible. Drive in. Be safe, Bible. 2C. Yes, Deb. So sorry. Water and weather. AJ. Bible. Buttercups. Hi, Bible. Be safe. L. Sent you that info, DD. Thanks for looking at that case. My heart dropped when I just read it. Just happened today. I will definitely look at that. Maybe another one we'll be covering pretty quick. Bible, hello, and please be safe driving. Bible be safe, says L in April. Doug, every single article is a copy and paste. Every single article is a copy and paste. It's crazy. It is just damn crazy. Share that light. Everybody, click the like. Share the stream out to your friends. Let's build this channel. Best way to support is word of mouth. Pass it out to your friends and to the people in other streams. It's just crazy. It's crazy because there's just, and that's the problem with cases that are just happened like real quick. There's usually never no information, so you just get that front of the info from the get-go, and then you have to try to parse out what exactly is it and how to go ahead and articulate it, you know? And knowing very, very well they're not going to give anything out that fast, without a doubt. But that's when you guys come in, because you guys do a good job, all of you, trying to figure out what the hell happened. And that's what helps us all think outside that box, is everyone's opinions and theories. You know, we don't know what happened, but we can sure have all these theories and opinions, and somewhere it can make sense or not make sense. Or we could see something that others don't see, or vice versa. Very true. Very well said, everybody. Going to have to hit the socials and see what the noise is, says Doug. Well said, my friend. Well said. Well said. Yeah, that's really truly what I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys, just so you're familiar with the name. So when I put something out there, you're not going, what the hell is this? You know, who is this? Because that's, you know, Chris would say that. What the hell is this? Every single article is a copy and paste. Deb, let's hope it's not one of those friend of a husband occurrences. See, at first I was thinking that. I was really thinking that. And all, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I was thinking, what if? What if? But then I looked at 25 years friendship. You would jeopardize it for that? Seriously? Like there's not something else out there? Why would you jeopardize your friendship like that? Just saying. Let's hope it's not one of those friends of a husband's occurrences, says Deb. Doug, gonna have to hit socials. Barney, my apologies. My internet dropped. Who is sending what links containing what info? Elle is sending me some info about a 4-year-old who just became unalive. They found her in the water. Happened today where she lives at in her area. April, Doug, white noise, laughing at all. Nano doesn't want to hear it. L, April. Oh, my Lord. Well said. Well said. Oh, my gosh. I don't know why, but my gut is telling me maybe she tried to disappear. What if she found out? Friend of a friend. What if she found out, Doug? Just saying. What if she didn't know? And they wanted to make sure. I mean, there's so much there, guys. I just, yeah. It's just crazy. AJ, AJ, so sad. They're having a vigil for the child tonight. But the reporting did kind of pique my interest as to so fast. But then again, I guess if you're in a different country, you would like to get it out as fast as possible because, I mean, you go to a different country, I don't care where you're at, your rights are not the same as you have here in the United States. So, I would guess I'd be calling ASAP myself just because I'm in a different country. Absolutely. Need more information. That probably will change. Without a doubt, I'm sure it will, but you just never know. You just never know. You don't know what people, I mean, if we can see people that are unaliving family members and their own children at times, we can see that this is happening. We hear it in the news. We see it in cases. I'm not sure why this would be any that much more different, in all honesty. We don't even know if anyone was with her, do we? No, just that she shared that that her, Elizabeth, and Amanda shared the Airbnb. And so, and maybe that could be why Amanda offered her to come with her, because she would have somebody there with her, and she probably knew she needed a break, and she was going on a business. It was a business trip that she was taking to Grenada. So maybe they said, come with me, get away from everything, and let's, you know what I mean? That type of thing. It's very possible. Very well could have been well-kinded and well-spirited. No doubt about it. Barney, B just put out something about a family of 8. BE just put out. Who's BE? Can somebody tell me the abbreviation of BE? Who is that BE? I'm not hip to all that. Got to fill me in, guys. AJOL, very sad. Kids are my softest spot. No doubt about it, Marion. Well said. I seen that, L. A suspicious fire. And 10. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you so much, Doug. Chris. Brian E. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that, my friend. Barney. Thank you, Barney. Appreciate that. I'm just not hip to it like everybody. But I'll get there. So at some point, I'll get there. April, I meant when she was last seen, if anybody was with her. Yeah, that they're not saying anybody was with her. They're saying that they just saw her walk from the pier to the water, and her towel was left on the pier. And I believe they were saying they found that towel later when they went, to check where she was at last seen. They found her towel. So Yeah, it's no telling. It is no telling. AJ, mine too. It could be so many different things, everybody. Fire, Doug. We had a unalivened and then unaliving oneself with fire here a few years back. Couple was about to patent a cancer cure. Interesting. Interesting. They were about ready to patent a cancer cure, and then they mysteriously went alive and unalive. I wonder how the hell does that work? Coincidence? Probably not. Deb, yes, AJ, kids are precious and innocent. Without a doubt, everybody. Click that like, everybody. Click that like. So it is very interesting, no doubt. No doubt about it. So, right, that's what I wanted to bring up. I just wanted to talk about that so you guys are familiar, so you guys know what to look for. They were married, like I said, 25 years. Husband of Elizabeth is Kaylin. Yeah, that's all the information I got, everybody. So now with that, now that we've got that out there, don't be surprised when we bring it up. Cheryl in the house. This is a new watch or a repeat from earlier. This is a new watch. A new watch, Cheryl, with the new case. A new case. Involving Elizabeth Waddell, who went missing in Grenada at St. George Beach, Annecy Beach, and went missing there on the 22nd of July, and they're still looking for her. Mom, she's a mom, married for 25 years. That's what we're going to be talking about. New show, new show. Welcome in, Cheryl. But that's the information, everybody. Let's go to an open chat. Talk about any case you want. Bring it up. Let's have it. Let's talk about it. Because unless you got questions on this one, there's not a whole lot out there. Just wanted to make you familiar on what we're going to be talking about in the future. What are their ages? Deb says, oh, what are their ages? Of the 8 kids that just now? Or the one earlier ones? Barney, a high dislike having to be careful of using names and real words on YouTube. I don't mind being respectful and not accusing Pep, but sometimes, yeah, just have to spit things out. Cheryl, thank you. You're very welcome. Chris, I think we should talk about cows. So you're one of them, huh, Chris? Barney, Doug, do you still have my email, Addie? Oleg, just look at the 8 kids. Some had pew shot wounds. Interesting. Luke Kamperniski and Justin Wilbur and 2 children. They had just finished building their dream home. Actually worked on the house in months leading up to the fire. He was a chemist. She a patent lawyer. Wow. Wow. Talk about serious bad luck. Barney, they do that with names because of defamation cases. Doug, I do, Barney. Oh, sorry, I forgot. I will delete that comment, says Ole. We have a 9, a 7, and a 3. 9, 7, and 3, Deb. But yeah, there's just a lot out there, guys. Any other questions with anything? Nolan, anything from Johanna, anything. What do you think about earlier when we were talking about Chris? Did you oil the chair? Stay focused, Chris. Stay focused. Stay focused on the topic. Chris, now 1985, Barney, I fully understand reasons. I just always agree. April, what's for supper? I already had mine. It was oh God. What was it? Stir fry. Thank you. I heard an echo back there. Stir fry. You said anything. No, I didn't. I didn't, Chris, because I like the noise. I like the noise. What about this latest with this Tristan Shepherd? What'd you guys think? Any new thoughts on that? Tristan Shepherd. Marianne said hi, Mrs. DD.
Hello.
She said hello. AJ, Chris, stay on topic. Love stir fry. It was good. It was real good. Doug, no docs. It was ruled unalivened and then taking their own life. Where dad pew-pewed kids and wife started the house and then pew-pewed himself, but can Google Monterey, mass unaliving house fire in Monterey, huh? California? Who lives up there in Monterey, California? Anybody got any idea? I wonder how far is that to somebody, maybe an RN. Just saying, just wondering. Stir fry is good, says L. Barney, Chris, let's chase squirrels together. There's a lot of squirrels out there for you guys to hunt down. I have 88 questions laughing out loud. Ask away, Quentin. Ask away. Saucy's in the house. Good to have you, Saucy. Deb, yes, could be bad luck for everyone. If you find a cure for anything, just become incognito without a doubt. Find a cure and don't say anything to anybody. Doug, Massachusetts. Okay, thank you. Deb, Quentin, L, RN, Marianne, RN, L, hi, Saucy, AJ, Saucy. What is your all's take about Christian Shepherd. Gronsky, I still say RN needs a lot of help, says Gronsky. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Hell, Gronsky, he does, in my opinion, lots of trauma. Oh, wow. You build your dream home, then you do that, take out everybody and yourself, well, start the fire, then take yourself out after going ahead and getting done with your dream house. I don't know how people do that. I really don't. Very sad story from years ago of Mark Maston of New York State. Ole, I think it is too late for RN Gronsky. I think you're right. I really know he needs help, without a doubt. But, Kat, you're right. I think that ship has sailed, everybody. That ship has sailed. No one wants to say anything about Christian Shepherd. Talking to Officer Tatum. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know about Christian Shepherd, but I can't get away from Javon and Mom being the last one with phone. Jay said he wasn't there, but turns out he was. AJ, I thought about it, scheduling him for your show, DD. RN, don't even think about it, AJ. I do not need, please do not do that. That would be horrible. Oh, my Lord. L. Why didn't Jay call Nolan's mom? Why didn't Jay call Nolan's mom? Okay, let me see here. Nolan. So you're saying Jalen was the last one, being the last one with phone. Jalen and Mom being the last one with phone. What do you mean? What do you mean, Doug? Jalen was the last one with the phone. I thought the mom, Jalen's mom, Shonda, went and picked that phone up from Warren. Are we not talking about the same one? Or the same phone? L, AJ, oh my, laughing out loud. AJ, Marianne, AJ, D, I would love that. Everybody has RO be looked at. Everybody has RO. Jay's mom picked up the phone. Correct. Jay's mom picked up the phone and then gave it or brought it to Christina, Nolan's mom. What am I missing? Oh, now we are. I'm not sure what you're saying there, my friend. Barney, did either one of Nolan's parents attempt to call Nolan's phone after they were told where it was? Well, I don't see. That is what Warren claims that he told her. But then why would she go ahead and do the 360 with her friends, trying to figure out, or using Snapchat to figure out where that phone was at? Why would they go all through all those steps if they already knew where the phone was at? That don't make no sense. I mean, does it? Doesn't to me. And do I think that they attempted to call Nolan? Yeah, I'm sure they attempted it when they were trying to get a hold of him to see where he was at, but they weren't getting any response because apparently the phone was in somebody's truck, right? Isn't that what they said? It was in the truck of Wyatt's truck. Marianne, please hit the like if you haven't. Marianne, hey AJ, I am not doing anything, says Marianne. Doug, nothing makes sense. I mean, they did try to get a hold of Nolan, but they couldn't because from supposedly when the boat left, the phone was on the boat, and then once it was on the boat, then when they got to wherever they were going, it transferred from the boat to Wyatt's truck, correct? And that's where it stayed until Shonda, the friend of the mom, and some others came there to get that phone. And then Warren said they went to the truck, got the phone, and handed it to her. What I don't understand is that Warren said that he told the mom at 10:30, because he said he told her before he had called. Remember, in that interview, he said he had told the mom before he had called the oh God, before he had called and made a report, he had told the mom he called and make a report at 11, I thought. So he told before that. So sometime before 11, he said he called and talked to the mom and told her that he had the phone. I never heard the mom say he told her that. I just heard him say that. But that was in the interview with Officer Tatum. Marianne, with the horrors. Marianne, nothing. Any case is making sense. Marianne, nothing in any case is making sense. I mean, you remember that, right? When Officer Tatum asked Warren, why didn't you tell the mom about the phone? And he said, I did. And he kind of was a little taken back, like surprised. And he goes, oh, he goes, when did you tell her? And then he said, I told her. And then he kind of started like dancing around the question. You know, he was like, well, I first texted her, I messaged her, and then I sent another message, and then I made a report. But before I made the report, I called her. Well, we know he said he made the report at 11 to report that he was missing, right? So it had to be before then. Well, the mom was still trying to figure out where he was at. So why wouldn't she have just went and got the phone from him if he had told her that? That don't make no sense. Because it wasn't until about 12, a little after 12 o'clock midnight, that the mom ended up calling the sheriff's office to report her son missing when he didn't come back. Remember that? Dog, I'm saying it is possible the mom deleted stuff and covering up for Jay. I'm saying it is possible the mom, Jay's mom, deleted the stuff and covering up for Jay. Why did he lie about being there on the island? Means an opportunity unlikely, but a possible scenario. Okay, I can see that. I just wasn't sure where you were going with that because that was something really outside the box that I haven't heard. I did not know that Jay has said he was not there. Fact of the matter is, I'm not sure any one of them. I don't ever remember even anyone really talking about those two, to be honest. Sometimes I know that. Sometimes it is the closest that hurt people. I get that. No doubt about it. That is possible. I just didn't know that. I didn't know that Jay or Jalen or whatnot that they weren't there or they were there because I didn't hear anybody really talk about them. Barney, if Nolan's parent attempted to call his phone, they should be records of that, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Sally True Doug, the phone gives me the jibbies. It's all about that damn phone, without a doubt, everybody. It's all about that phone. CB, hello everyone. Welcome in, CB. I mean, that's a thought. That is a thought.
I don't understand.
Yeah, I just had no idea that they were there or they weren't there. I would thought they would be there because all the friends were there, right? Well, they were there, weren't they? Didn't they say that they were on the boat? Remember they said there was two of Nolan's friends, black friends. Those two individuals got into an argument with the other friends on the white boat. Remember? The deleted info on the phone and the judge cleaning the boat are two things that stand out most to me in the case, along with the messy interview Warren did. The interview Warren did not help himself, everybody. I'm going to tell you that right now. It didn't help himself. I'm not sure it's going to matter at the end of the day, but it didn't help him. The Warren that Tristan Shepard did, that was a good. I mean, he did good. He literally, I didn't see any issues with that, to be honest. I didn't, he was stayed respectful. He didn't really get out of line. He didn't try to, what I would call, try to mislead. And he sure as hell didn't need anybody to guide him through that interview because he pretty much said what came to his mind, unlike Warren, in my opinion. Warren was trying to put out the narrative, but he messed up too many times, contradicting himself, and his body language told a lot, in my opinion. Very, very well said, El. Very well said. I thought Tristan was very truthful and believable, without a doubt. I agree 110%, Doug. Totally agree with that. I think Tristan Shepard was very, very truthful. Me too, Doug. Marianne, Nolan's friend spoke out saying the Nolan's mother lied about. Okay, Nolan's friend spoke out saying that Nolan's mother lied about knowing they were good friends. He stayed at Nolan's house at times. Yeah. He did say that. He did say that, Marianne, absolutely. But I don't know if you call it a lie or you call it that, or if you would say that the mom had other more important things like her son is missing. Don't know if her son is alive or unalive. I think there was other things a little bit probably more on her mind than whether he knew the son or not, or whether she knew Tristan Shepard or not. But it's possible. I mean, everything's possible. I just don't see what gain is it by her let's say if she did not tell the truth and she lied, what would be the gain for her to do that when it's only dealing with were they friends or not? What would be the gain? I guess it would be my question. Barney, we definitely know that people lying, but to cover whose rear end. That's true. Very true. Well said, Barney. Doug, what about being fully clothed? That was totally untrue and debunked by Cajun Navy. Without a doubt, that was so true. Matter of fact, we talked about that. I've said that on the last time we talked about this case that Ben Crump, that Cajun Navy told Ben Crump literally not to misrepresent their words. That's exactly what happened. And he did, according to Cajun Navy. AJ, my opinion. Maybe mother was on distress, hard remembering things when you have more important things on your head. I mean, that's what I'm thinking, AJ, without a doubt. Ashley Cole reached out to the Wells and was not responded to. It was the Wells who went no contact. I get why, but it's the Crump narrative is concerning. Yeah, I agree with that. I look. I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you that I even agree with a lot of things with Ben Crump. Okay, I'm not saying that at all. Okay, I yes, I'm not saying that at all. I agree with anything that man does. Okay, but I will say that because of his name and his what he has done in the past for people of color, I'm sure that's why they went with him, you know, because he does get results. However, yes, as far as Ashley Cole reached out to the Wells and they did not respond, it wasn't the Wells who went no contact. I'm not sure. I mean, Ashley Wells, what I remember her saying was her and her mom went to high school together and they knew each other and yada, yada, yada. That's what I heard. Almost like they were friends. But her mom was quick to say, not so fast. Not so fast. We went to high school together, but it's not like they talked. You know, they weren't friends. So I don't know what to really make of it, to be honest. L lied about knowing Katie too. So many lies. One lie can sometimes be overlooked. Not this many thought. My opinion. Well said, L. Doug also stated people were uncooperative, but that was also untrue. And warrants were served on all the boats. Also stated people were uncooperative, but that wasn't true. And warrants were served on all boats. Well, probably because they weren't going to let anybody see the boats unless they had a warrant, so they were able to get warrants. It's usually why they have to get them is because people don't want to have them look at their boats. There is a lot of misinformation, without a doubt. Barney, my opinion, Crump isn't doing Nolan's case any favors. I agree with that. He should be uniting, not dividing. The fact of the matter is the family should have never hired Crump. They should have hired a criminal attorney, not a civil rights attorney. What happened to Nolan is probably more criminal, if anything, at this point, than civil. Maybe down the road they'll be able to prove civil. But right now at hand, if it wasn't those two things that happened to him, either somebody unalived him because they didn't like him talking to the girl, or they didn't like him, or someone pushed him out of the boat by accident, or he fell out of the boat by accident and he ended up becoming alive. There's nothing else you can say that makes any sense. It's one of those two. The pooping in the water, that doesn't even make sense. I mean, it makes sense to poop in the water and pee in the water, but not necessarily. It doesn't make sense that he would have went all that ways down there just to do that. That doesn't make no sense. He was trying to just take a swim. Why? Why would he take a swim? And if he did, wasn't Katie with him at the time? She left at 8 or 8:30. So then what did he do? Take a swim after that? Hell no. He's probably wondering how am I going to get my ass home? I would think. Barney, in my opinion, Crump is doing nothing. Crump is the best. That's why it is so concerning. Was he not prepared or was it intentional? Look, I don't think he was prepared because he's not a criminal attorney. I don't think it was the prepared. He just doesn't handle. He doesn't handle criminal. It's like a ambulance chaser in a car accident and a somebody who's going to do your for a better lack of words do some write out a whatever. Do you have a will? Writing out people's wills or a divorce lawyer. They're different things. He does not have the knowledge that a criminal attorney would have. There was so many more better, in my opinion. AJ, agree, Barney. Barney, I don't know about someone's name. I care about results. Buttercup, just a theory and thought. What if Nolan, under influence, fell and hit his head on a rock? That's possible. That's possible. But why was he in the water? Why would he be in the water? I mean, if the theory is that he was taking a pee, that I can see that him slipping and falling and hitting his head on the rock. That's possible. But the idea that it would have to be, I mean, there was a reason why they said you have to know not only that he drowned, if he drowned, which is probably what they're going to say, and the underlining being the drinking. But here's the thing. You have to know not only that he drowned, but how did he get to the water? What was his motive to go into the water? Those elements have to be answered in order to make sense that he was in the water, right? The drowning is the water in his up in his throat or in his esophagus or whatever, The idea that the water is the amount of water he has in his stomach or his nasal up top cavity area. That's what the drowning is. But the idea is, why was he in the water is the question. Not so much that he was drowned, but why was he in the water in the first place? And if he was in the water and he became unalive, what brought him to the water? That's what you got to ask yourself. If you're saying he went swimming and his girlfriend or the girl that he liked, she left, then why would he go? I mean, I don't get it. Once again, I'm thinking I just need to get my ass home, I would think. As far as him slipping on a rock, that is possible. Absolutely, that's possible. If he went in there to take a leak or to, do whatever he had to do, whatever business, yeah, that's possible. You know what I mean? It's trying to figure the motive of why he would have been out found in the water. That's what you got to ask yourself. Why was he in the water? What did you all think? Why was he in the water? But that is a good possibility, Buttercups, without a doubt. But I want to ask the question, why was he in the water? Barney, I agree. He's not helping the case either. Barney, I agree. This is not a civil case. Doug, I really hope they can figure this case out. Deb, the things is there wasn't anything showing an injury. Correct. Are you saying their first thoughts went to a racial matter? I would hope not. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, if you're asking me, what I'm saying is he either was fell off a boat to go drowning, to be drowned, he had to either fall off a boat, in my opinion, or someone didn't like the fact that he was talking to this Katie girl, whether it was a ex-boyfriend, whether it was somebody that just didn't like him for whatever reason. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be one of those things, because the only thing you have to ask yourself is, why was he in the water? What drove him to go to the water? You know what I mean? Did he swim forever to take some people put it, take a dump and to go pee in the water, so they didn't pee or take a dump on the island so no one would step on it? Or was it that something else happened to him? I mean, there's only pretty much plausible. You got to ask yourself, why was he in the water? That's all I want to know. Why is he in the water? Deb, exactly. If the ride is leaving, you got to go. Absolutely, without a doubt. L, I don't feel this case has anything to do with race, but it is the narrative put out by many. I could be wrong. We know that he most likely drowned because they found him floating in the water, right? We know he most likely drowned. Okay. The way everything is looking right now, he was intoxicated and he likely drowned. The question is, what put him in the water? What was the reason he was in the water for him to drown? That's the question I'm asking. Dev, didn't see any rocks. Doug, my first thought went to racial crime until I learned new information. Though have to consider it with history and nuances of Jackson, Mississippi. Can anybody give me a really good reason why he was in the water that would have caused him to drown? If he drowned, what was the motive of him being in the water? Can anybody give me a reason why he was in the water? Quentin, are they going to output a timeline on Wells? Put a timeline on Wells. I have no idea, Quentin. Are they going to output a timeline on Wells? I can't come up with a good reason for being in the water. And that's where it really starts, guys. Because if that's the narrative that's being discussed, that he drowned, we don't know if that's the only thing that happened to him, but it appears that that's what the narrative is that he drowned, right? So why was he in the water? Buttercup says, chasing a boat, leaving by chance. So he was chasing a boat. So he was chasing a boat. Did they know he wanted to go on the boat? Because if they knew and they didn't stop to take him, what would you call that? Just asking. What would you call it if he was chasing a boat that was leaving by chance and they knew about it? Why would they not stop? He was well liked. He was friends of a lot of people. He's a really good kid. Why wouldn't they have stopped? You see what I'm saying? So the question is, what would have put him in the water? If it is chasing a boat, that's not a bad theory there. But then my question is, if he's going, hey, hang on, wait, I need a ride, and no one stops, did they hear him? Did they not hear him? Doug says, doing laps, going bathroom, chasing a boat, maybe running from something on land, fell off or hit by a boat. That's really, guys, that's how you process it. You know, because in this case, in this case, all great ideas, great opinions, no doubt, great theories. But you have to answer that question. What put him in the water to literally drown? That's the question you got to ask yourself. What put him in the water? What could have put him in the water? He was in the water because he was in a boat going back. He was in the water because what? You follow where I'm going? There has to be something that put him in there. Now, I'm not saying someone put him in there. I'm saying there has to be a reason he's in the water. What would be that reason? Barney, see my comment, dog. I'm going to it right now, Barney. I'm just having a hard time accepting that not one person has the strength to talk to the police and demand to be relocated if they fear for their life. Cowards in my book. Well said, Barney. Well said. 110%. Totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. Doug, doing apps. April, all the boats there, in my opinion, he would have had a ride if he needed it. Okay. So he would have had a ride. So what put him in the water? If unalived, he wouldn't need a ride. There you go. There you go. Well said, April. Well said. Because that's the question you got to ask. What put him in the water? Especially that you know that it's been reported that his girlfriend left at 8 to 8:30. She left on a boat leaving. Did he try to get on that boat? Did they say, we don't want you on the boat? We don't have room for you on the boat. You follow me? So what put him in the water? The only thing I can see putting him on the water is being on a boat. That makes logical sense. That makes logical sense is a boat is what put him on the water. Nothing else makes any sense of why he would be in the water. He's not swimming. He's trying to figure out how in the hell am I going to get back? I would think. April, yes, agree. Or he was put in the water after the fact. Very possible. After the fact, he was put in the water. After the fact that he drowned. After he drowned, he was put in the water after the fact. Then how did he become unalive? So then he became unalive on the land. So then somebody either did it or he did it to himself. He took his own life. And then they just put him in the water. You see how that sounds? I'm trying to just get ideas here. What put him in the water? Cooling off, reaching, says Buttercups. Doug, I am not dismissing that thought. He was put in the water. Makes perfect sense if he was unalive, which means that he was on land when he was unalive. Then that's how he would be in the water, according to that theory. And if it's not that, then the only other way he's going to get out on the water is if he's on a boat going back. Because he sure as hell ain't going to swim 10 miles. Could this have been Katie's dad? Is that Horn in the photo with Nolan? If so, why did he say he wasn't there? Was he supplying booze? See, now you're getting into something a little bit more as to, yeah, it could be very well Katie's dad that got him on the boat. Maybe he got him off the boat when he didn't expect it. I'm just saying, it's so, because why, if that was Katie's dad, why would Katie need to take a boat back? Why wouldn't she have just gone back with her dad? Because Katie took a boat ride back. Why wouldn't literally Katie just gone with her dad? Could it be that dad didn't want her to come back with him because he had something he had to take care of? I don't know. I have no clue. But you see where everything's going. There has to be a reason why he drowned. Because the easiest thing is to say, well, he was in the water and he was swimming and then he went too far. The current took him out. Okay. Well, what made him go into the water? Yes, we still don't know the manner and means. We are still assuming. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said. Because until you ask, until you can figure out the question as to why he was in the water, then you can ask that question whether he drowned or not. But if you can't put him in the water with any reason, with any reasonable theory, and like you said earlier, I think he was put in the water after the fact. So that means he was on land when he was unalive. That's why I'm always saying there's only two options here. And the reason I say those two options is because his life was he was either unalive on land, whatever theory you want to look at, whether it was because who he was, because he was talking to Katie, because it was an ex-boyfriend, whatever you want to put in there. Or he was on a boat on the water and he went into the water. That's really the only two things that make sense. Nothing else makes sense. I guarantee you, if I have to use the restroom and I have to go in the water, I'm going ankle high, sitting my ass on the ground in the water, and there I go. I'm not going to go. Why am I going to exhaust all my energy to go way out there? Way out there in the water just to go ahead and take a dump or take a leak. That's not happening. And I'm probably not in any shape, and I know that I'm not in any shape because I'm intoxicated. I'm not going out there. Not that far. Hell, I'm already breathing heavy. You know what I mean? But you're right. There's a lot of things. All I'm saying is you got to figure out what put him in the water in order to understand why he drowned. If a boat taking on water, you wouldn't want more than 2 or 3 people on that boat due to weight. Very true. And what did Warren say? He said that they had everybody shift to the front of the boat. So because the boat was like this in an angle. And he said everybody had to go to the front of the boat so the boat would kind of come back down a little bit so they could take off and then take the plug off. Somebody had to jump in the water, take the plug off. And once they took the plug off, then they could hurry up and get pulled out and then take off. And they couldn't stop because if they stopped, water would start filling up again, right? Did someone ask Nolan to take the plug out? Is that possible? Because that would give him a reason to be in the water. Hey, Nolan, can you get that plug? Take that plug out. There's so many different things, but really there's only 2 things that gets him on that water. A boat going back or someone unaliving him on the island. That's it. In whatever shape, form that may be. There's nothing else. What if we learn he didn't drown? Then that would mean that someone took his life, right? Because how else would he not? If he didn't drown, somebody would have taken his life, unalived him. Marianne says, I'm still, if someone pushed him off the boat, there would be some kind of marks on him. Not necessarily. If they pushed him off the boat, that doesn't mean he definitely hit the boat with his head or anything. You know, I think you can push somebody off the boat and not have their body hit the boat. Just shoving somebody off the boat, it all depends on the direction of the boat, where he was sitting. If he was sitting more to the front, somebody pushes him off, he goes off, the boat goes by. I mean, he doesn't just by getting pushed off the boat doesn't say that he would have literally hit the boat. What if we learned he didn't drown? That's the thing right there, Doug. Yes. If they come back with that autopsy and say that's not what took his life, yeah, then we have a whole nother dilemma. Or they have another dilemma. We don't. They do. Because they've got to figure out what actually made him unalive. Very good point. Very good point. 2C, I think Nolan went back on the boat. Something happened and they dumped him. Drinking and drugs, if any, can make some people hot-headed. It's a very good point, 2C. Very good point. So the anomaly is, what got him on the boat? He was headed back. What got him in the water? Took a dump, took a dive, got thrown out, pushed out. Maybe he fell off accidentally. And before anybody could, who's going to get him? Who's going to get him? He starts to go underwater. Now no one can see him, and now everybody's just panicking. And then at this point, it's like, hey, let's just go, man. It was an accident. It was an accident. Yeah, but we didn't help him, but it was an accident. And it is. It would have been considered an accident. I never even thought that people dump in the water. Oh, glad I don't bother in the water. AJ, that's possible to see. Or some accident. Annie, I know, right? Yuck. Annie, Yep. Tusi, I heard 7 people on the boat from Fugitive TV. He had the call from help from the kids on the boat. 7 people. How many people actually got off that boat? It's sad because I'm watching the Daphne this afternoon, and they showed him playing ball. He was a great athlete. What a shame. Well said, Annie. Well said. Barney, common sense would be to limit weight on return and returned later to get them. But if drugs or alcohol was involved, common sense may have been impaired. Without a doubt. Well said, Barney. Well said. Well said. See, my whole thing in what I'm saying, guys, I'm not telling you, I'm not saying it any which way or the other. I'm just saying there's really only 2 viable, reasonable explanations. Literally. And because, literally, of where this happened at in Mississippi. It's just a fact. That's just the way things happen, right? And not the way things happen. That's just the way that history in the past has always been there. So the idea that he either got on the boat and fell off or was pushed off, or somebody allowed him on the island and then threw his body in the water. That's really the only 2 things that could have happened, guys, that makes any sense to me. Literally, that's the only thing that could have happened that makes sense to me. Because anything else is like a really stretch. He tried to swim 10 miles back. Aquaman would have never swam 10 miles back. I mean, he was got caught by a current and it took him out there. Well, what was he doing in the water in the first place? And was anybody there? No one heard him? I just find that hard to comprehend or to understand. So then I draw myself, what put him in the water? There's only one thing that would have put that kid in the water going towards the end of the night. And that was he was on a boat going back. Sometimes it's right in front of you. I mean, I'm not saying that's exactly what happened, but I'm saying there's only very few possibilities, because before you say he drowned, you got to say what got him to go to the water. Because in order to drown, you got to be in the water. Quentin, Aquaman, laughing out loud. Miss Barney, if we don't learn from the past, we are doomed to repeat it. That is well said. That is well said, Barney. 110%. I agree with you. 100%. Without a doubt. So that's really where we're at. That's where this is all at. Look, I think they'll say he literally drowned. And then they'll say, and what contributed to that was probably that he was inebriated quite a bit, or he was inebriated. He had been drinking. Okay. But that still doesn't answer the question, why did he get out there? How did he get out there? What was his reason to go out in the water? It wasn't to take a swim. Quentin, very true. It wasn't to take a swim. He's been out there the whole day, so it wasn't to take a swim. Crystal's crime board. Hey, everyone, welcome in, Crystal. Annie, and you can tell by looking at them, they were smart acting. Very possible. Ole, hi, Crystal. Click that like, everybody. Click that like. Crystal says, hey, everybody. Tusi, I don't understand why Nolan's body was so decomposed, only being in the water for a short time. Totally agree. Totally agree. Totally agree. And they said, the decomposition and everything, hell, he was in the water 2 days, probably a little less than 2 days. Did they have to really, literally, was he that bad of shape that they had to use his dental records to confirm who he was? Crystal says, hey, Ole, hey, L. Water decomposes more. Okay. 2 days, a little less than 2 days. That bad? I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, I'm not an expert in that area. I'm just, it just didn't seem like, once again, Crystal says his autopsy doesn't make sense to me with the back of his head, with the mark on the back of his head, that red mark underlining. Yeah. I mean, that could be from a lot of things, guys. That could be somebody either he hit his head on the boat. Let's just say, as Marion's theory is, that if he was pushed out the boat, maybe that's how he got that mark on his back of his head. It could also mean that he plays football, right? So you know how that helmet sits right there, back of the neck? I only know this because I know football. That back of that mark on the back of his neck, over time, that part of that rim of that helmet in the back, I only know that because I've seen it with my son. Over time, you see that little red line on the outside. I'm sure if there's a red line on the outside, there's going to be a red line on the inside, right? Because he played football from little guy to high school, then to college. Could that be why the mark's there? I don't know. Possibility, but I don't know. Makes sense, because I've seen my son come home from games and he had red all over his back like a line around where that helmet sits right there. And every time he moves his head, as a running back, as a linebacker, whatever, every time he moves his head, it's going to create that mark. That's where the helmet would fit right there in the back of the neck. Possible. I don't know if that's it, but that would be a possibility. That's how he got that mark. Or he could have got whacked, for all we know, in the back of the head. All good opinions, without a doubt. Spo's in the house. The call said the grandpa was on the phone. Warren never mentioned that he called grandfather. Interesting. The call said grandpa was on the phone. Grandpa. Who's grandpa? I'm trying to figure out who's grandpa on the phone. Warren never mentioned that he called grandfather. Yeah, not sure. Click like, everybody, if you like the live. Click like and subscribe. Be a double puff investigator. AJ, maybe the heat contributes to the decomposition. Very possible. I would say absolutely. And Quentin said earlier that the water actually helps decompensate the body. Body, heat, water. That's possible. Hell, I don't know. That's not my area, but I could see that. AJ, I'm sure that doesn't help things either. Oleg, it does, AJ, says Oleg. Quentin, did they confirm drowning? They didn't confirm it, but he was face down in the water. They said that the reason they had a hard time noticing his face, like what he looked like, is because he was, for a better lack of words, waterlogged. So he had taken in so much water. And probably, I think they even said like the after, for a better lack of words, the little nibbling things that would bite people when they're in the water, like fish and whatever, possibly. But they did say that. I don't know the exact word, but that's what they said. They said it looked like blood was pulling from there, but he was found face down. They said it looked like blood was pulling from there, but he was face down. So the idea that, because they asked, remember when they did the autopsy and they were saying that the blunt hit, do you think that, by reading the report, do you think that the blunt hit would have caused him to unalive him? And the lady pathologist said, no, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't think so. She said, I would be worried more with his brain, because oxygen can get to your brain eventually. That's why when you're in water, if you go to drown and oxygen can get to your brain, inevitably you're going to start gargling and drinking, and before you know it, you're going to be out. That's what she said. They may have confirmed they haven't confirmed anything just yet, and they're not going to right now. They've said they're going to take it to the grand jury before they release anything to anybody. So the grand jury is going to see it before then. Mary Barney says, could that mark be recent from football helmet injury? I think it very well could be from the football helmet, just literally wearing that helmet, all your calisthenics, doing all your different workouts with your helmet on, even during games. And I know they didn't have any games here in the summertime, but I'm just saying, even during games and practices, that back of your neck, that helmet, that rim of that helmet is going to sit right there towards that back where that lady was talking about. So, yes, that would have left a red mark on the outside, but they said they found a red mark on the inside. I've seen it with my son when he's had those marks on his neck from his helmet. But if it's on his neck, I could just imagine on the inside what it would look like. You know what I mean? Crystal, Queen, no, they haven't confirmed anything yet. AJ, Spool, L, Spool, hello, Crystal, the back of his head. I mean, it sits on the back of the neck part, the neck. So that helmet would come all the way. Now, you're saying, Crystal, that the back of his head, there was a mark on his back of his head? Because they said there was a red mark on the underlining tissue of his neck. That's what I was talking about. But yeah, if he had a gash on his head, that could explain a lot of things too, without a doubt. Good point. Marianne. I don't know, Nanos. Deb, just saw a short about the mom denying Trayshan Shepard as being a friend of Nolan's. Now, why would she do that? I hope this short was not just AI. Yeah, I don't know, Deb. Honestly, I really don't know why she would have said that, other than maybe she wasn't really at the time. She wasn't even thinking about it because she had more things on her plate, like her son being possibly unalived or drowned or not knowing what happened to him. Spool, hello, 1985, Marianne. Barney, depending on which way someone puts a headlock on a person, that could leave a red mark, injury on back of head, and damaged throat. Possible. It's a good point. Marianne, Deb, yes, I seen that too. Crystal, brain bleed as well. I'm more curious about the markings on the back of his head along with his throat. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If he drowned because they pulled him out of the water face down and they pulled him out, inevitably, at least the way I understood it, what they were talking about with the autopsy that was released, even though they had to rule everything as inconclusive because they didn't have the parts, they didn't have the neck and the throat, they didn't have the brain, they didn't have the I believe also even the heart. They didn't have certain parts of that body that they needed to make an assessment. So all that independent pathologist could say is inconclusive because of the fact that he didn't have what he needed to work with to make a definite an opinion on it, because they didn't have those parts of the body. They were not sent with the body. So the reason that's important is because that's why they said a lot of the things that they said were inconclusive. It wasn't because they couldn't have an opinion on it. It was just, and it wasn't because they didn't know. It was just because we can't finish doing what we do without having those body parts. So yeah, it is very possible the markings on the back of the head. Yes, very possible that, but we don't have that, and won't know that till after the grand jury, and even then, the grand jury is going to say either they have evidence or not to prosecute, right? So really, nothing really got resolved with the independent pathology autopsy. Deb, yes, she said the brain can give more info, absolutely, because once the air, you can't get any air, oxygen to your brain. Now things start happening up here in the brain area. Things start happening up here, either, and I'm not a pathologist, but either maybe some swelling or some water or some fluid or something happens that they're able to tell, oh yeah, that's definitely going to be a drowning. You know what I mean? I don't know what that is. I'm just saying that's why she said the brain can give you more detail what happened than that neck. Spool, somebody needs to separate the voices on that call. I heard some interesting info in the background. Yeah, well, maybe so, Barney. Guys do that a lot. Roughhousing. Very possible. Very possible. Good point. Dab. But it's best to be honest and would be an accidental incident. Totally agree. Totally agree, Deb. Well said. They said the red tissue. Yes. Underlining that red tissue on that back part. Still think they kept those body parts for a reason. Well, sure. Sure, they did. They didn't want anybody else to test it. Because, see, the pathologist that was originally on talking about this issue, and her name was Priya Bonner, something like that. She said that normally they just keep a little piece of what the parts of the main part, whether it's the liver, whether it's the heart, whether it's the brain, whatever, throat, neck, they keep little pieces, little parts so that they can retest it again if they have to. In this case, they kept everything. So, and obviously they're claiming it's still under investigation, right? So if that's the case, well, of course, they don't want anybody else to do any other testing. Slick Ryan, God bless. DOW and ICE. We need more Patriots. Oh, God. Crystal, I agree. I feel like they saw something. Me too, Crystal. That's the whole point. So, yeah, I think we're right on the money. It's just a matter of gotta know that answer. Why was he in the water? L says, me too, Crystal. Barney, in my opinion, many autopsies aren't done in a timely manner. I don't want to hear, oh, we can't afford more pathologists on duty at one time. BS. Well said, Barney. Well said. Jim, hello, everyone. Welcome in, Jim. L, hi, Jim. Jim. So that's the whole point. You have to figure out why he was in there. Now, if they rule that it's, and I really think they're going to rule because the lady, the pathologist lady said, inevitably, it's going to be hard to say it wasn't a drowning because the same thing of drowning would also look like, oh, what did she say? It would look like something else. They both would give the same exact result or the same exact inference of what had happened. So I really do think they're going to say it was a drowning, and they're going to say the underlining was alcohol. In other words, what they're saying is the alcohol contributed to the drowning. That's what I think they're going to say. Don't know if they will, but it's my guess. Jim, AJ, Crystal, hey, Jim. Jim Survival, Crystal, good to see ya. Miss Barney. So, yeah, you all follow what I'm saying, though, right? You got to find out why he was in the water. If this is not a drowning, then everything is totally different. Everything changes. Every dynamic you thought of changes if it's not a drowning. I think they will say it's a drowning. Even if somebody, let's take it that you take somebody and you cluck him over the head and you knock him out, right? And you throw him in the water, right? And they're knocked out. Are they going to drown? Of course they are. Matter of time, they're going to drown. So they would say drowning with an underlining, he was struck on the back, or if they can prove that he was struck, or they can show that there's marks of damage to the back, they'll say, yeah, he had damage to his back of his head, almost like a blunt object struck him, and that didn't kill him, but that didn't unalive him, but that put him in the water. He was out, and then eventually he drowned. So it's not going to be really the drowning that caused it. It's going to be the thump on the head that caused it. The underlining would be the drowning. Edie, do you think it was a drowning or something else? I think it's only two things, honestly, Jim. I think it's either going to be a drowning, but you have to ask the question, why was he in the water? You got to ask that question, because without knowing why he was in the water, the drowning makes no sense. So why was he in the water? Okay. Do I think it's going to be a drowning? Yes, I think that's what they're going to come. Do I think he drowned on his own? No. I don't think he drowned on his own. I really don't. I don't think this was an accidental drowning, like he went out too far, got swept up by the currents and ended up drowning. No, I don't think that at all. I really don't. Do I think that they're going to rule it that way? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. They'll rule it that way, without a doubt. They'll rule it a drowning, for sure. Because that's what's going to show that he had so much water in his lungs. He had so much water in his nasal. He had so much water in his stomach. They're going to rule that. And if they don't find any damage to his head, then this is going to be a drowning. And they're going to definitely find alcohol because they were all drinking. So the underlining will be alcohol helped him drown. Do I think he drowned? No, because I first have to know why he was in the water. I've got to know that answer. Why was he in the water? Because that would tell you, does that make sense? And if that doesn't make sense, then no, absolutely not. Just best way I can explain it, my friend. So honestly, do I think that he drowned? I think he drowned, but I don't think that it was on his own volition. Let's just put it that way. Jim says accidental drowning or something else. That's a good question. I don't even know how to really answer that without, I don't know how to answer that without being biased, literally, honestly. Because accidental drowning, do I think he drowned because he went too far in the water? No. Do I think he drowned because he was swimming in an undercurrent? Well, why was he even in there swimming when everybody's leaving and when his girlfriend's gone at 8, or not his girlfriend, the girl he was talking to is gone at 8:30? That gave no reason to go in the water and swim, right? So I would say literally that accidental drowning, the only way I could see an accidental drowning is that somehow he got knocked off the boat. People were arguing. Maybe the water was coming in a little bit more than they anticipated. Maybe he did go on the boat. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. Maybe he was on another boat going back, and somehow he either slipped, fell, or was pushed by accident into the water, and then he drowned. That's accidental. So in that accidental, I could say yes. Yes. It happened when he was going back. They didn't mean to. No one meant to push him off. Maybe there was a struggle. Maybe there was a temper tantrum. Maybe there was people that were getting into it. And then all of a sudden, kapow. He goes in. Oh, God, someone's got to get him. All of a sudden here, and everybody's inebriated, right? Everybody's been drinking a lot. Next thing you know, oh, God, he just went under. Somebody's got to get him. I can't get him. I don't know how to swim very well. Oh, I can't get them. And you always hear that other people always get unalive by drowning when they try to help somebody else, right? Because they're grasping for everything they can to stay afloat. Before they know it, he's gone. He's under. That's accidental. That wasn't meant to happen, but it happened. I'm not saying it is or isn't, because it's only going to be two things. He was on the boat and somehow he ended up in the water, or someone unalived him on land and threw him in the water. That's the only possible thing that could have happened, because that would be the only way that would happen. Once again, unless they found something in their autopsy that said otherwise. But good question. Very good question. Melissa's in the house. How you doing, Melissa? Good to have you. AJ, Melissa, hi, Jim. Barney, if someone drowns, there is probability of water in the lungs. Yep. I know there are some other factors, but good pathologists can figure that out. Sure. Absolutely. But if you're in the water, you're going to take inevitably you're going to have waters in your lungs if you're in the water long enough. You're going to have water in you're eventually going water's going to seep through your mouth. It's going to go in, it's going to go to your stomach, possibly even your nasal up here at the top. Yeah, you're going to have it. And they'll be able to say, "Oh yeah, he drowned. Oh wait, there's a big thump on his back of his head. Oh, wow, that looks like somebody struck him. Well, that could have knocked him out, and then that could have caused him to eventually drown." Or he goes off the boat into the water because he is so inebriated. He can't swim that long because he's so inebriated that he ends up drowning. So what was it? Well, it was an accident. Only if it wasn't. It was an accident unless it wasn't. And no one was wanting to go out there and try to help him because they were afraid. They were in shock. I could see that. Melissa, hi, HAL 1985. Jim, I know what you mean. I mean, it's really one of those two. There's nothing else that makes any sense. Because to say that the current took him, a current swept him underneath, that would have to say he was out there doing what? Swimming? His girlfriend or the girl he likes is not there. She's gone. Because if she's there, she's yelling for help. And then everybody knows. Right? So why is he out there swimming if his girl that he likes is now gone because she took another boat at 8 or 8:30? So why is he out there swimming? And I don't think he went out a far distance just to take a leak or a crap in the water. He's not going to go way out in yonder. Hell, he's probably too inebriated. He probably is too tired. He's not going to go out there. He's just going to go as short as he can and just drop a load and go. Come back in. That's my thinking. And I'm trying to just process a lot of this stuff from my law enforcement background. That's all I'm trying to do. This is not like my this is just not my opinion. This is using the tools that I have had and I have learned in my law enforcement experience to say that's how I would process that. But there's a lot of things in there, a lot of dynamics, without a doubt. Debbie, maybe he chasing the boat and kicked off trying to get off. I know I shouldn't laugh, but that sounds horrible. But it's I know I shouldn't laugh, but the way it says it, maybe he's chasing the boat and kicked off, trying to that's a very good possibility. Or maybe they just don't turn around. Maybe they just say, "Oh, bullshit, we don't have room, we don't have space." I know I don't mean to laugh, but it's been a long time since I've been on live, so it's just the idea that it's very plausible that literally it could have happened. But I would think if that's the case, it would be that they didn't have no room and they just kept going. And he couldn't make it back to the island. That's very possible. Dad says, think you are right, Dee. Because there really isn't anything else that makes any sense, guys and ladies. There's nothing else that makes any sense. Barney, that's why more than one opinion is needed. Amen. I agree. My personality is too strong to lie when it involves someone's life. I speak out loud and I clear. I hear you. And but that's what the first thing you have to go where it's almost like jumping to the beginning, like or jumping to the end instead of finding out why. You know what I mean? Like well, he drowned. Okay, if he drowned, then why was he in the water in the first place? Right? Why was he in the water in the first place? Marianne, we really don't know what happened, so anything is possible. Well, of course, we don't know what happened. No one knows what happened. Someone knows what happened because they were there. Someone saw what happened. We just don't know what happened. But if you look at the logic of it, absolutely. Absolutely, without a doubt. It's only a couple things that can actually happen here. Unless they find out he had some aneurysm that busted in his head, unless they find out that he had he became unalive with the heart attack in the process, that's a possibility. Unless they find out he had convulsions, that's a possibility. Hell, we just had that happen in California and Carlsbad with the other case we were looking at. Apparently, she went into convulsions from not having a drink for a while. And she went into convulsions, and they found her laying face front on the water, face down. She was unalive, and they said it was because of withdrawals from alcohol. Hell, we didn't even see that coming. So you see what I'm saying? There's a lot of different things, but the reality is, unless it's something like that, there's only a couple really, to me, common sense scenarios that could have happened. I'll be surprised if there's a high level of alcohol shown. Well, I think that's going to be what's going to show is they're going to have some alcohol, how inebriated he was. I don't believe he was a user if that's found. I don't either. I don't think he was a user. According to his dad, he had some aspirations and some goals. The kid was a good kid. By everybody's opinion, that kid was like, let's just say it. He was well raised. He was raised well. I don't believe he did on his own after seeing him in a couple, but absolutely, without a doubt. It's just not in his character. You can see it in his eyes, the type of just how he carried himself by the videos and the pictures that we see of him. That's perfectly said, Deb. So yeah, I think it's going to be that he definitely had alcohol. But the problem is going to be is now that's not where they're going to go after. They're going to go after who supplied the alcohol and who supplied, if there was anything nefarious in his body, like foreign substance, narcotics. They're going to want to know who supplied that as well. And maybe that's where you could look at something as in foul play. But the actual being unalive, yes, everything is pointing to the drowning. But once again, like a broken record, I come back to what put him in the water. I'm not saying who put him in the water. I'm saying what put him in the water. Because then you're going to know exactly the reason he was in there. And we may not know what put him in the water, but we can say for sure that it's one of those scenarios. I'm saying the boat would probably be the only thing he would be in the water, because he could have literally exited that boat. Or like someone said earlier, he could have tried to chase the boat down and somebody kicked him off. or somebody said, hey, we don't have room, man. Go back, go back. We'll come back later. Go back. I could see that. Go back, go back. And then he goes to go back and he just can't make it and he drowns. I could see that happening. L says, hard to know what was in his system of the others thought to, in my opinion. Absolutely. Dad, there is a condition that a person can go into seizures from temp variations when going into the water. Interesting. Well said, Dad. Well said. Barney, be right back. Need to make Pop his dinner, but I will be listening. You got it, Barney. AJ, okay, Barney. All right, everybody. We've been on this for almost 3 hours now. 3 hours. Chris, holy crap, BD, you better save some energy for tomorrow. I'll be here. 10 o'clock tomorrow, everybody. Remember, 10 o'clock. Chris, are we still going with, what are we talking about? Are we breaking down the Nolan thing? Or are we going in a different direction? Do you know what we're talking about? Chris says L. But yeah, I mean, it's only those two things, guys, in my opinion. Once again, it's not a personal opinion. It's just trying to, use what I know or what I think I learned in my experience that possibly that could be, but I don't know. Sounds good, Chris. Sounds good. That's what we'll do. 10 a.m. That is correct. Chris on panel with DD. Doug, too. Hopefully, Doug will be here tomorrow. Sounds good, Chris. AJ, 2C, DD, tomorrow is Monday. I know we're going to, instead of doing it on Tuesday, we're going to do it tomorrow because we wanted to cover the new information that had come out about Nolan. So we had changed it to Monday instead of Tuesday. But it will be. But thank you for reminding me. But yeah, it is Monday. We're going to do it tomorrow. Because that's what we were going to talk about it from the get-go. Is that correct, Chris? AJ, a bot of everything tomorrow. Gotcha, Chris. Deb, you need eye drops now, DD. I do. I feel it. But hey, it was all worth it. It was good conversation. It was a great conversation with all of you. You guys make the channel what it is. So thank you, everybody here. Thank you so much. Make sure I should wait till Barney gets back so I can tell her as well so she doesn't go, man, everybody just left. Because that would look kind of bad. TRR tonight at 8. Yeah, I don't know what the topic is, El, but I'm gonna see if I can watch it a little bit unless I fall asleep. Great conversation. AJ says, great conversation. You got it, AJ. Like I said, you guys asked the right questions. Tusi, I watched the replay. I'll be working until 1. You got it, Tusi. So, yeah, no, everybody's got great opinions, great thoughts, great conversation, without a doubt. Chris, you better rest up on the couch. Jim, hit the like, everyone, before you leave. Yeah, that's what I would think. Marianne, see you all tomorrow. You got it, everybody. Pima County jail investigation. Oh, that's right. They were something about nanos and they were looking into him or something to that effect. Oleg, it looks good. TRR about the deaths in prison and nanos. Yes, definitely. I will pop in there. Won't stay long, but I'll definitely pop in there. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for always supporting the channel, for always giving and asking the great questions you guys ask. Understand that, hey, everybody's opinion is important. Make no mistakes. Everybody's opinion is important. And you guys make everybody, including myself and yourself, smarter when you give out your opinions. PP tonight. Nancy got 3. Is she still alive? AJ, Chris, are you joining PP tonight? course he will. Marianne, I'm going to watch PP. Tuesday, Kyle, see you tomorrow. Ciao. See you tomorrow. All right, everybody. God bless you all once again. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, mods. Thank you, everybody, for your contribution, helping the channel grow. And just know it's all common sense. Good job, Dee. Thank you, Quentin. Good job. Just know it's all common sense, folks. It is really common sense. It is always common sense. You know, and that's the most important thing. So if you get a chance, like, subscribe, be a devil pup in the investigation, and let's go from there. Hopefully this thing will get resolved eventually. We know that's going to happen. Welcome in, B. Welcome in. Good to have you. Click that like and subscribe, everybody. All right. God bless you all. It's too bad you do not have any. I have no idea what you're talking about. It's too bad you do not have any. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Have a great day, evening. You got it. Semper Fi, everybody. God bless. Remember, it's all common sense, everybody. It is all common sense. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe to the channel. Semper Fi, everybody.